slithering pizzas, galloping Whoppers, deceptive dough, and mystery meat flavoring are just a few of the fast food myths that contain a grain of truth. When McDonald's customers heard that the chain was using beef tallow in its fries, the loudest protests came from the vegan crowd.
Oh God, vegan? No, thank you.
Fries were presumed to be one of the safest animal-free go-to treats on the menu, but the fantastic flavor arose in part from the inclusion of animal fats. McD's vowed to clean up its act and use only vegetable-based oils going forward, but that didn't solve the issue entirely. It turns out there's still beef-based flavoring being used in these classic crisps. It isn't as if the chain was ever hiding this fact either. A glance at the ingredient list on the McDonald's website calls out natural beef flavor as part of the formula. It's tough to nail down where this flavoring comes from, though the recipe denotes that wheat and milk derivatives are involved. So even if actual beef isn't a factor, there are dairy elements that plant eaters wouldn't know to avoid if they thought that the chain had removed all animal products from the fryer. Virtually everyone has heard the weird internet rumors of animals other than cows being used to create burger patties in fast food restaurants.
This is a rat burger.
Usually the myth comes with some sort of conspiracy theory that these companies will do anything to save cash. Maybe this was a self-fulfilling prophecy, or maybe the rumor originated because there was truth to the story. Whatever made it happen, Burger King actually was found to be using horse meat in its burgers, but not intentionally. In 2013, Burger King locations in the UK denied the presence of horse meat in their patties, but samples from Silvercrest, one of Ireland's Burger King beef suppliers, revealed that there was indeed horse mixed with the cow meat. For possibly up to a year, Silvercrest had imported horse meat from Poland. Once the discovery was made, a major recall was undertaken. At Burger King and any grocery stores or eateries where the distributor's packages were also sold. The denials led to accusations of a cover-up by Burger King, which began bringing in meat from Italy and Germany to backfill for the recall. You may have heard the urban legend that the beef used in Wendy's famous chili is actually yesterday's burgers crumbled up and given new life. The idea of using food that wasn't good enough to sell on day one as an ingredient on day two can be a bit of a buzzkill for a Wendy's fan. Not to mention calling into question the possibility of health codes being violated.
That burger put some serious hurt in me. I love it. Got any more?
But this is one rumor that's not a rumor. Instead, it's a business practice for a company with an eye on food conservation. Before you get grossed out and decide that you'll never eat Wendy's chili again, consider that the company is making sure that edible food doesn't just go in the trash. It's an innovative move that reduces food waste and keeps costs down for the company, which hopefully it can pass on to its consumers. Using burger meat also makes the chili taste better. Wendy's is so above board about the practice that it's even called out on the company's website, with an in-depth description of how the process works. Part of Chick-Fil-A's success came from the inclusion of a superior lemonade as a signature drink selection. For some, it was as big a draw as the Southern-style chicken and oversized waffle fries the chain is famous for. But taste buds don't lie. Several years ago, customers began detecting something was not quite the same. And it wasn't long before the internet got hold of the rumor that Chick-fil-A had changed its lemonade recipe. A little online digging revealed that this rumor is actually reality. As inadvisable as it seems for Chick-fil-A to change a formula for one of its core products, the company took the fresh squeezed component out of its lemonade process. They began bringing in pre-squeezed lemon juice instead. According to the restaurant, the move was intended to free up workers to better serve customers rather than spend time making lemonade on site. And though patrons were initially sour on the idea, feedback received by Chick-fil-A shows the public is sweetening up to the new taste. If any sector of the consumer landscape is primed for a total tech takeover, it's fast food. Automation for every job in the food prep production chain isn't impossible, and it's a phenomenon that got a test run in 2020 during the world's no-contact ordering phase. Going touch-free required chains implementing a host of self-service elements, like ordering kiosks and pickup stations. Whataburger is rumored to have taken the concept even further, with a totally digital restaurant that operates without any face-to-face interaction between customers and workers, Surely a totally robotic restaurant is decades away, right? Apparently, not for Whataburger. The old-fashioned burger outlet came up with a forward-thinking format to test in Austin, Texas, that functions like an updated automat, where customers order via app and retrieve their food through lockers or pickup lanes. Though there's a staff of 50 working behind the digital curtain, there are no seats on the premises of the 24-hour operation. If the concept catches on, maybe you'll see an all-digital Whataburger in your area soon. You've probably heard the false rumor that Arby's sliced beef was made from some sort of reconstituted non-beef powder. The chain was able to overcome that bizarre notion and prove that America's roast beef is indeed roast beef. But it's true that Arby's sandwiches went beyond simple roast beef and into the realm of game and woodland critters. As a limited-time promotion in 2023, Arby's offered big game burgers made of beef, venison, and elk. These momentary menu items were tied into a promotion that would send lucky winners on a hike through the Rocky Mountains to see what they called the most remote Arby's in the world. The prospect of mixing in a more gourmet protein certainly sounds novel, even if it does sound like something you might write off as just a folk story. For decades, nasty rumors have plagued KFC about the food the chain serves, especially the rumor that the company changed its name from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC because it wasn't exactly serving real chicken. Though that creepy consideration was debunked, the possibility that KFC supports inhumane practices by relying on factory farm food sources continues to haunt diners. Sadly, the rumor that chicken farms that produce KFC products uphold a poor standard for animal treatment is true. Factory farms that produce poultry for KFC kitchens are notorious offenders when it comes to humane animal treatment. Visual evidence regularly shows the company's chosen providers around the world maintain cruel and unhealthy conditions for the chickens they raise. It seems unlikely that pushing through such a high volume of chickens could ever be anything less than humane. But other farms have found ways to maximize the comfort and health of the animals before butchering. Maybe someday KFC will follow suit.
It's the battle of the beef. In one corner, Taco Bell.
Ay, ay, ay.
In the other, a class action lawsuit.
It's true, the meat Taco Bell uses to make their tacos and burritos is not entirely made of just meat. Anyone who's taking a bite of a Taco Bell meat-based item knows that the texture is a little odd, and not really like the ground beef they're used to at home. Is it possible that Taco Bell uses something other than beef as the filler for its best-known offerings? The fact of the matter is that the meat component of Taco Bell's creations is only mostly beef. A revelation made during a lawsuit filed against the chain. It's more accurate to say that Taco Bell's mystery meat also contains a considerable amount of soy-based fillers, which are used to expand the volume of their meat offering without having to spend more on beef. Everything in the mix is fully food safe though, so it isn't as if the company is compromising the health of their customers. If you're new to the Bell, you may be caught off guard by the texture of the meat, but true Bell heads know that strangely textured soy beef blended meat is just part of the package. Just because it comes in a cone, that doesn't mean it's ice cream. And if it comes from a mechanical pump, you can be sure it's not ice cream. But ice cream's smoother sibling, soft serve. Dairy Queen knows the difference and even makes it clear in the FAQ section of the company website. But in the rush of the fast food treat world, there can be lingering confusion over whether DQ actually sells ice cream, especially for customers who haven't really thought about the distinction. So when the rumor that the Frosty Palace doesn't serve ice cream recirculates every so often, it's not a rumor, it's a fact. The distinction isn't necessarily in the ingredients, but in the fat content. The U.S. Department of Agriculture requires 10% butterfat content for a product to be labeled as ice cream. Dairy Queen Soft Serve has only 5% butterfat. So while the good news is that DQ's smooth swirls have half the fat percentage that ice cream does, it also confirms the rumor that if you're eating a DQ, you're not eating ice cream. But you can keep calling it that if it makes you happy. If you've eaten at a Subway in Ireland, you may have found a slightly different menu than what's available in the US. It isn't unusual for chains to customize offerings to suit the tastes of local diners. But rumor has it, the bread that held your American sandwich isn't considered bread by Irish standards. But isn't bread just bread? The unexpected yet accurate answer is no.
I want to know that if it's not bread, then what is it? Is it a I don't know, a foot-long cake?
How can Ireland declare that Subway bread doesn't qualify as bread? It all comes down to the sugar content, which was deemed too high for the country's legal requirements for the food to be called bread. Instead, the chain's rolls are classified as confectionaries. The designation was the result of Subway trying to avoid a value-added tax on its rolls. Bread in that country is classified as a VAT-free staple item. It was Subway's legal challenge on the topic that revealed the sweet yet salty truth behind the rumor that while its rolls may hold a sandwich, that doesn't make them bread. At least not where Subway in Ireland is concerned. If you think pineapple is a questionable topping for a pizza,
Pineapple on a pizza?
wait until you hear about the one topped with snake. And it doesn't start in some weirdo experimental gourmet pizza kitchen. It starts with Pizza Hut. The dining scene in Asia is no stranger to serving snake. And to keep up with local tastes, Pizza Hut offered shredded snake meat as a pizza topping as part of its 2023 menu. Though some believe this protein-packed ingredient to have medicinal properties, Pizza Hut touted it as an enrichment to its diced chicken topping and served it with abalone sauce rather than the usual tomato-based sauce. It sounds like an attempt to take an Italian classic in a direction that would appeal to regional pizza fans, though there's no word on whether snake pizza will make a return anytime soon.
It really just tastes like a tougher chicken.
Regular visitors to Chipotle have noticed something sinister happening as they watched their assembly line orders being prepared. Workers were doling out ever-shrinking portions of fillings and toppings. How did a company who knows that customers watch their food coming together think they could pull a fast one on a food-savvy crowd? Even a casual Chipotle fan knows how much sofrito they should be getting in their mega burrito. Were these hawk-eyed customers imagining things, or were sneaky dealings afoot behind the Chipotle counter? None other than Chipotle's CEO admitted that the TikTokers who pointed out that prices had risen while portions had shrunk weren't seeing things. Approximately 10% of the company's nearly 3,500 locations had engaged in shrinkflation shenanigans, and CFO John Hartung had promised that despite the additional expense, Chipotle had begun making amends and ramping up its portion sizes again.